discuss about the historical development in science and technology in the Philippines during the Spanish era. So, Filipinos have written information about its society, culture, and technology. So, before the Spaniards came in the 16th century, the early Filipinos did not have an extensive written tradition like other Asian civilizations. Most of their knowledge, history, and culture were passed on orally through stories, chants, epics, songs, and proverbs. So there were some forms of writing like the Baybayin script, but it was mainly used for personal communication, poetry, and record keeping, not for writing long stories. So also they relied on archaeological findings to trace a region. So since written records were scarce, historians and researchers relied heavily on archaeological discoveries to understand early Filipino life. For example, like burial sites and jars like the Manunggul jar. So it revealed religious beliefs about life after death. And also the pottery, tools, and ornaments show the level of craftsmanship and daily activities. And we have shell, maidens, bones, and fossils. So they gave clues about diet, hunting, and fishing practices. And also the ancient artifacts such as gold, ornaments, and jewelry, like from Butuan. They reflected trade, social class, and artistry. And the last is the settlements and remains of early houses. So they showed how people lived near rivers, coast, and fertile lands.
Next, we have the modern man Asian from mainland came overland across a narrow tunnel to live in Batangas and Palawan. Learn how to make simple tools and weapons out of stone and later on develop sewing and stone publishing provide the explanation of this. So, now early humans migrated from mainland Asia to the Philippines, settling in places like Batangas and Palawan. They started by making basic stones and weapons, later developing skills in sewing and publishing stones, showing technological advance.
During this time, early people in the Philippines learned to make simple tools and weapons using stone. Later on, they developed skills in sewing and polishing stones, which made their tools sharper and more useful. They also made ornaments from seashells and created pottery for daily use. These items became important in their way of life and lasted for about 2,000 years. However, when Chinese porcelain was introduced through trade, local pottery faced strong competition. In short, this shows how early Filipinos were creative and resourceful, using natural materials like stone and shells for survival and art even before the Spanish came.
So let's proceed. But before that, let me introduce myself first. I'm Charin Cabero. So Filipino people during pre-Spanish era learned to use metals as a tools in mining, and it's called Iron Age. And it lasted how many years? And usually ang mining nila is gold, copper, and bronze and iron. But they're not just um, do mining. They also into weaving, shipbuilding, and farming. And also they create the finest product of engineering, which is Banawi Banawi rice terraces.
So next is 3000 BC of the 4th century. Early Spanish noted that Filipinos built a refined black-built warship called Caracua that is suited for inter-island trade. And then locals from Butuan established a trading relationship with Vietnam and China. That means the early Spaniard who came to the Philippines observed that Filipinos were already skilled in shipbuilding. They made a special kind of flatboat warship called the Caraquac. This boat was not only strong and fast for warfare but also well designed for traveling between islands, making it very useful for both defense and trade. In addition, the people of Butuan in Mindanao were already involved in international trade even before the Spanish arrived. In historical records and archaeological findings show that Butuan had trading connection with Vietnam and China. They exchanged goods such as gold, ceramic, and other valuable items, proving that the Philippines was part of the wider Asian trading network long before colonization.
So, indigenous Filipinos had a deep knowledge of the curative properties of plants. So, they practiced extracting medicines from herbs and used remedies long before Western medical systems arrived. So, they also used the indigenous writing systems such as the Baybayin, which is used in Luzon and other regions. Another is the Laguna copper plate inscription. So this is which the earliest known calendar dated written document from the Philippines. So they used the lunar observations to mark the passage of months and sometimes years. So they also used it as an agricultural cycles to mark the time when they harvest and when they plant. So this shows the precise measurements of goals and fixing specific dates relative to phases of the moon.